Daytrippers, brought to you by bookmakers.com.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the midweek fix from the LFC Daytrippers, the second midweek fix of the week, because me and Phil done one on Monday. This one is a bit different, though. It's a call-in show. So, if you want to call in and you're a subscriber to this channel, in the community tab on YouTube, you can see a post there with the link. You click the link, route through your browser, and you can come in and you can chat to us, ask a question, we'll answer it. You head off, and another person comes in. Now, if we get a load of calls, great. If we get no calls, great. Doesn't matter. But we won't be doing a call in again. We always do these things that you're asked to do, and then when we do them, people don't fucking call or people don't watch the watch alongs, and then we just bin them. So it's what you call it, Keith? It's like not trial and error, market research. Was that what you?
Yeah, trial and error as well. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a bit of market research. See if it works. You know what I mean? It's like Chris Barry phone show, this one, or Adrian Kennedy, 10 o'clock, get on there, share your woes, and see where we go from there.
All right, okay. Seany, how are you?
Good. Really enjoyed the game last night. Something different from Liverpool. Good to see us look more structured again. And a game I wasn't even looking forward to be honest with you. As soon as I saw the lineup, I was more intrigued. So, yeah, good. And there's a few wet the beds losing the head as well over social media. Imaginary world again today, which is always entertaining. So I'm sure
it's genuine. It is genuinely turning into it is turning into make you believe world, isn't it? It's fucking insane.
No, well, it always has been, but you know, like, I don't know whether it's because I'm a little bit older now, but you're always up to these things. You can see exactly what it is. It's fucking gassed up. Absolutely hilarious the way people get so enthralled in this stuff that's completely made up. But yeah, bring it on. But if any of them have courage and their convictions, they'll be calling in, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, listen, as I said, if people want to call in, that's fine. If we're left here, the three of us on our own, we'll have a chat for now and then we'll head off. It doesn't bother us. The lads are commenting on Seany's internet. It is having a bit of a mare, but we'll see how long it holds out. And if it doesn't, he'll just spin the router around 3 times and put it back on and it'll be all good. Keith, first, I'm going to bring up comments here. As we go, PMax says, for fuck's sake, now it seems that FSG are staying. More years of non-support in the transfer market wasted Klopp and this team's potential. What do we actually know about this, Keith? That's my question, because
very little.
Look, I woke up this morning to James Pearce saying that Liverpool are erring on the side now of sale of a minority part of Liverpool, and everyone fucking lost their shit. Now, this is James Pearce, that along with Ornstein, and people say, no, Ornstein broke the news. Go back to the day it happened. Ornstein breaks the news and Pearce follows it up very quickly with a follow-up sort of thing. What do we actually know here? Because it's just every day is something different. Like, I seen a Twitter Spaces, genuinely seen a Twitter Spaces on the top of my feed. I never go into them because I despise them, right?
Yeah, I'm not into them.
And it basically said on the top of it, Liverpool to be owned by Qatar, or Liverpool, Qatar, or Liverpool, one of this. Anyway, genuinely the next day, because Qatar hadn't announced that they'd bought Liverpool Football Club, there was a Spaces with all the same people in it saying FSG are staying. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, when you actually look at it, Keith, genuinely, what do we know here? Because I think it's fair to say that FSG are looking in some way to get rid of part or all of Liverpool Football Club. But everything else after that, we don't know.
Yeah, and see, this is it. I think something that's very pertinent here is, you know, Sean, you touched on it. You know what I mean? People listening to what you want to hear. Simon the Garfunkel said, "Hear what you want to hear, and disregard the rest." And I think that's what's sort of happening. You know, like you look at. Originally, it came out that FSG were looking to part sell the club, and everyone assumed because they got the big hit in banks, or the big hit in the Goldman Sachs and all these. Or was it Goldman Sachs? Whoever it
Yeah.
was, they got in and the other crowd to broker this, that this isn't just a minority sale. This is a full sale. It's going to be huge. It's going to be mega. And then everyone thought it was going to be a full sale. And then everyone thought it was going to be a partial sale. And everyone thought it was going to be a full sale. And everyone thought it was going to go to American owners. And everyone thought it was going to Middle East owners. And then Qatar announced that they were going to do it. But they didn't announce that really, you know what I mean? And people just rumored it. And this is what's happening. Everybody's just running and jumping on stories. James Pearce, and look, James Pearce is James Pearce. He's very reliable on some things with Liverpool previously, but I think that sort of has waned in the last few years, and he's taken a different approach to Liverpool now. And I would take what James Pearce's information is maybe with a pinch of salt. That's not to say he's not got any information, but I just don't think it's as concrete as it was a few years ago. And he seems to be going now down the road of not anti FSG, but he seems to be a little bit erring on that side. And to me, I don't know how much credence I'd give to James Pearce. Not look, he knows more than we do. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know until I hear something more concrete. Like Jurgen Klopp is saying one thing in a press conference a couple of days ago, basically, and again, it could have been Sean. You touched on this on Sunday. He's only saying a couple of days ago, the journalists, we're not going to be telling you if there's anything happening. And now all of a sudden we're taking journalists' words again. Do you know what I mean? So I think people have this insatiable thirst for their own agendas. And I think, you know, and in the chat, and there's loads of them in the chat, and look, it is what it is. I'm not telling people what they can and can't think about Liverpool or about FSG. But people want FSG out and they will literally do anything to get them out. Is that going to happen? Possibly. Is a sale going to happen? Possibly. See, I can understand why they'd want to keep a stake in Liverpool because it is, you know, as far as money goes, it's a big deal. You know what I mean? It's an investment that's constantly growing. But how realistic it is, I don't know. But yeah, I just think until we hear something from a more credible source than James Pearce, I don't really pay too much attention, to be honest. Not that I don't pay too much attention, but I don't know which way it's going, is what I mean. Do you know what I mean? Until we hear something more concrete, i.e. announcement of a sale, or I don't know if Paul Joyce is going to be in the market for breaking news like this. But, you know, until you hear about a sale or you start hearing a lot of the journalists talking about advanced sales or bids, we're hearing about bids and then we're hearing the bids aren't happening and then we're hearing about they might happen and then they're going to happen next month and in 2 months they're going to be bids. This all sounds like the absolute biggest load of bollocks you'll ever hear because, like, who's informing these people that in 2 months there's going to be a bid? You know, it's crazy. So I think as much as you might want FSG out, and look, that's fair enough, I think everyone at this stage feels that their current model is broke, it's done, it cannot continue with this. Unless they're going to change that, they have to move on and they've taken the club as far as they can go. But I wouldn't be getting too worked up about tweets and things like that from aggregator accounts because they're just everywhere and you can't pay too much attention to them.
Okay. We have a first caller. Let's see if it works. Bruno is the person's name. Let me see. S4. Bruno, can you hear us? This might go badly.
Fine.
Hiya, Bruno.
I've got a few things I've got to get off my chest. I've been on Coppish TV. I've been on Jamie Phillips' show as well. John W. Henry is really starting to piss me off.
Okay.
He's really starting to piss me off.
Why?
I'm going to make this perfectly clear to every single Liverpool fan out there, whether you're an FSG fanboy or you're just a Liverpool fan in general. We don't accept finishing second place. We don't accept finishing third place. And we don't accept finishing fourth either. Finishing fourth, finishing third, finishing second place is horse poo. It's diarrhea. Okay, we are not Tottenham Hotspur. This isn't the Olympics. Yeah, we're not Tottenham Hotspur who flipping except finishing second place. We are not the bridesmaid. You know, if you've been to a wedding, right? You know the bridesmaid that takes the bride down the aisle. We're the bride. We're the person that's getting married. Yeah,
Bruno,
we're not.
Bruno, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Who else in England has won every trophy in the last 5 years?
Liverpool, obviously.
Who else?
Apart from City, who have won.
No.
What?
No. What have City not won? What have City not won?
Oh yeah, we're the only ones.
Exactly. So we're not bridesmaids, you Matty.
Yeah.
No.
I understand your frustration, but you can't be so entitled as a football fan. No, but only one team can win the league.
Here's the problem I have, right? One title in 13 years.
30 years.
My problem.
30.
Well, that's even worse then. But since John Dewey has been in charge, one title in 13 years. One title in 13
Yeah, but none in the 17 before that.
In 17 before it. See, do you not see? Can I ask you a question? You can answer this yes or no. Have FSG improved Liverpool in every aspect, on field and off the field?
Yes, they have improved things off the field and on the field. But when it comes to investment and backing the managers in the transfer window,
I agree with you to an extent. I do.
It's absolutely embarrassing. Roy Hodgson, Brendan Rodgers, Kenny Dalglish, and Klopp. 3.5 managers in, and none of them have been given funds to improve the team. None of them. Huh?
Well,
I mean, Klopp's improved the team with very little funds. So you're saying they've not been given the major money.
I think the way people see it is, and we keep going back to this. You know, if you're able to look at the model they have, you know, you can see the model for what it is, right? That's fine. People's frustration is that, you know, and me and Shawnee were talking about, me and Shawnee kind of not argued but debated over it last Sunday, where we said, you know, it's good, but it needs to do more. And I think everyone's in agreement that if FSG can't find more in some way, right, i.e. bringing more money in than they currently spend, which gives you extra funds, they probably do have to move on. But having said that, the only thing FSG have said, right, is that they're always looking for options. Okay, I think they came out in the Ornstein thing back in November. The word was that Liverpool are for sale, when actually the quote said they always look around and they're always looking at their options. Now, the talk was then a little while later that I think it might be Mike Gordon confirmed that they will be open to a sale. But these things don't happen overnight. So if I have it in my head that I want something now and it doesn't happen right now, okay, I don't think it's very fair to get overly frustrated by it. Like, this is a $4 to $5 billion deal. Yeah. It's not like you know, 2010 when FSG went to take over the club and it had to be done quick. Do it quick or we're in fucking trouble here. This is a $4 to $5 billion deal. And if FSG have looked at it since November, I think it's, and they can go or not go, whatever. But I think if you're looking at November, I think it's fairly acceptable that a deal, I don't know how far down the road a deal may be, it's fairly acceptable, I think, in mid-January, which is probably 8 weeks since we had that Ornstein thing, that the club has not been sold yet. It does not get done that quick. It simply doesn't. It doesn't. Even if somebody came in today and said, we will put £5 billion on the table, the amount of legalities that has to go through, all right, and that's why these two companies are involved, the amount of legalities from the Liverpool end, because of all the assets Liverpool own and everything else, and from the other end as to, have you got the money? You put it down, have you got it? You have to show you have it. And the amount of due diligence, everything else that has to go on, you know, takes time. And I'm not saying you won't get what you don't. I'm not saying you won't get what you want, but I think what's happening now is that on a day-to-day basis, it's going from Liverpool are being sold to Liverpool aren't being sold to why isn't it being sold to, and it just continues on. But listen,
Fair
Bruno.
play, Bruno.
Yeah, no,
Fair
thanks
Fair
a
play
million for your
ringing
call,
in,
mate.
Bruno. Nice one.
And
Keep the faith. Keep the
and
faith, mate.
That's
Keep
I'm
the
gonna
faith.
try to get someone else in. All right.
Nice one.
Cheers, mate.
I'll just quickly make this last point, right? This isn't pregnancy, yeah? This isn't pregnancy. This isn't like moving house, yeah? I've got a date. By April 22nd, my birthday, this guy has to be out of the club. No excuses. Or even better, the 2nd of February, my sister's birthday. There's two dates.
Which do you prefer if I'm talking to him? He could be ringing in next, Bruno.
Well, look,
we'll give him the dates.
I think the big thing is that whether you want FSG to stay or go or you're indifferent to it, I think a decision on when it might happen, or finality on when it might happen, I think is looking at it to happen now. I think it's a bit optimistic. But Bruno, listen, thanks a million for calling in, and
Fair play,
we'll try to
mate.
get someone on.
Well
Cheers,
done.
mate.
Thank you.
Right, there was our first caller. Frustrated.
Yeah, first ever.
Yeah, frustrated. Glasgow Red TV says the link isn't working. Listen, if you're trying to get in and we're not answering to you, stay where you are, and we'll try to get people in as we go. That's it's just you get held in a queue. So don't worry if it hasn't come on. We've another one. Do you want to bring another one on?
Come on, this is like Joe Duffy. This is great.
Yeah. Segun is the person's name. So let's see if this works. Let's see. Okay, Segun. Have I got the right name? Let me see. Segun, can you hear us?
Sorry.
There you go.
Evening.
They are.
How are you?
What's
How's it
happening,
going?
fella?
I'm fine. So I'm just going to pick it up from where Gav ended. So I'm not particularly against any owners, whether you want to come in or you want them to go out. But I think we actually need to understand that we're a fan of Liverpool Football Club. John Henry is a businessman and he has the right to run his business because not each one of us, despite the fact that you can't see that your neighbor is riding Porsche and you decide that, because of that, I need to ride Porsche because you might not be able to afford it. So for FSG understand their model, and when they realize that okay, this is not working for them, because I think one of the major reasons why they went for the Super League is because they want more money to be able to compete, and they are not ready to push in their own money. They want the club to be able to run itself. But when that did not work, they look for other ways to invest their money, because I think in reality Liverpool has reached like the peak in terms of in terms of what they can gain if you turn 300 million to 3 billion in maybe 12 years. I think you should be doing that every 12 years more. So for me, FSG is serious about what they want to do. If they are not serious, they are not going to go to a bank to come and advise them, because it costs a lot for you to bring any bank, international bank, to come
Exactly.
into this transaction. It's not is you will be very surprised that they can take 20%. Bank can take up to 20% of whatever income that you get on it. So I think we need to calm down. We need to concentrate so much on what is happening on the field, not
Correct.
because we don't even
That's
have control.
exactly it.
If FAG said they are not selling, they are not selling. Man U fan has been trying to get Glazer out for how many years? They
Exactly.
couldn't. We thought the protests and everything. Oh, don't buy the jets, don't buy this. The Glazers are still there, so I think we should concentrate on what is happening off the field, and we have every reason to be angry what is happening on the field. But when it comes to whether they are going to do a takeover or not, I think we should put our energy somewhere else. We can abuse them for not having for their performance on the field, but whether they are going to go or they are not going to go, I don't think we don't have any power to do anything about it. It's their business.
Yeah.
So that's my own contribution.
You're right in what you're saying, and
Just spot on, yeah.
you know, Sean, I'll let you answer this before we let him go, but we have to concentrate what's on the pitch. He makes a great point. But the frustration as to what's going on the pitch does trickle upwards. All right? Klopp, the management,
absolutely,
and everything else. So, although, you know, you get behind the manager and you get behind the team and you get behind Liverpool as a whole, at some stage, Shawnee, whether it's the manager, his staff, recruitment, or the owners, they're going to have to identify what's going on here, and they're going to have to make changes. And if they can't make those changes, the changes probably needs to come at the top. Like that's a very, very fair thing to say.
Well, yeah, and look, it was great points made by the caller. I think it's very rational thinking. I think cool heads always prevail in these situations. And again, you need to kind of look. There's not a lot we can do as fans that affects this. And like he says, it's big business, Gav. This is not like some under the table deal. Like this will take a half a lot of time. The legalities, like you said, big banks being involved. It's big money. We're talking billions, not millions. So it is going to take time. And there is only so much we can do as fans, which is not a lot really, whereas we can just continue to support the team. I'd see it as sort of an admittance by FSG that they said they've outwardly looked for investment in Liverpool solely, not like FSG the way they did with Redboard, where they got some investment in there, but that they understand now that they need investment from somewhere else if they're gonna give Klopp exactly what he needs for a rebuild. Because I think under their model, which is done well so far, I do think we need a little bit of leeway. Even Klopp himself has kind of referred to this when he said, "I wish we could be more risk adverse." So I think the caller makes some very, very valid points. I think thinking rationally is exactly the best way to be now, and trying to keep cool. I think it will all work itself out. I think Liverpool, it's far too big of a football club. I think FSG, they're clever businessmen. Like you said, these lads are capitalists. They're not going to want to let this drag because they won't win either. And fans are just restless at the moment and it's being accelerated by what's going on the pitch. And then you read what you see in social media, and fans are just restless, me included. It has been frustrating. It's been a frustrating season, especially when you look at what teams around us are doing. So all we can kind of do now is kind of keep clear heads and think that maybe by this time, 6 months down the line, the club may be in a completely different position than it is now, and we might be ready to kick on and challenge again. Because one thing's for sure, based on what Klopp said the other night, he's not going anywhere, and it looks like Klopp is fully aware of what he needs to do to get this team back to where it needs to be.
Yeah. Look, Sagun, thanks a million for your call. We let you go,
calling in,
but
Sagun.
great points and great to hear from you. Cheers, mate.
Well,
Thank you.
Well done. That was good, wasn't it? It's good so far. Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, I am enjoying it because you get different
don't have
people
to
and you
talk
get different opinions, and some hate FSG and some don't, and some
That
want to-
That man has a Versace house coat on and a pair of slippers because he's so chilled out.
Yeah.
And I think I'd love to be naturally like
Would
that.
you love to be that chilled out?
Yeah, some people are just naturally like that, and I thought he was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Spoke very well.
Fair place again.
Gav, get them to let them know where they're calling in.
Oh
from.
yeah. Let us know
Yeah.
when you're calling in. Yeah, I will. I'll ask them. Sorry, Shawnee. Because people are. One person said there something about. Hold on, I find it because it was very funny. I have to look it up. And I was trying not to laugh because it makes it look like if G10 says, "Bride, you're in Ballyferma and you have a problem with John W. Henry. When did you notice the problem?" And I just thought it was fucking brilliant.
Quality. This is
Um,
great crack.
But just to let you know, if you're on, you're talking to us. We're not laughing. We're not laughing.
Oh,
at you.
yeah.
We're laughing at stuff in the chat,
The
which
comments.
is the thing about Bridie and Ballyframe. Absolutely got me. But before, if there might be other callers coming in a second, but I want to ask you something else. We can wait in FSG for a minute because I'm sure everyone calling in will ask about FSG and the takeover and stuff like that. And we've all given our views on what we'd like to see happen at Liverpool. You know, if they go, they go. If they don't, they need to get more money there. It's as simple as that. But just on the game last night, because Shawnee, you mentioned it, and I'll come to you first. It was nice to see a midfield run around a lot, wasn't it?
Yeah, and like I think I really enjoyed the show he did with Fielder and I Gav. I love when people look at things in as a whole instead of microcosm. And although there is a little bit unrest in the background, like I don't think it's outrageous to say what a mobile midfielder does to our system when we play. He didn't really change the system last night, which I call out for. It was just more a personnel thing. And we even seen the difference when Fabinho come on. Now, I'm not going to dig Fabinho out, but I did have a bit of a laugh at him last night. He was just bouncing the ball up in the air whenever he came to him. But Tečić was fucking absolutely quality.
I thought he was outstanding.
He didn't look out of place at all. And Gav, you see with technical players when they're younger, that they seem to struggle a little bit with the other side of the game. But he's bang up for the physical end.
Yeah, he's a little ratty fucker, isn't he? Gets in.
Yeah, his sense of tackle is fucking brilliant. And you can tell who really enjoyed himself last night was Thiago, playing beside someone like him. And again, it goes back to, like, I'm not blowing my own horn here, but fucking facilitator, Gav. Now, that's probably a bit of a slight on him because he was fucking brilliant in possession last night. He was some lovely touches. But a facilitator just goes a long way. You look at the difference Thomas Partey's made to Arsenal, Casemiro has made to United. These allow your Mavericks to perform. You know what I mean? It
shout out to Keita as well, by the way.
Yeah, and you know what? Look, it's this fucking age-old story with Keita. Honestly, I thought he was brilliant last night. But
and you see, sorry, you were saying he was
clear,
brilliant last night, right? And I've seen compilations I've seen one compilation today, and there was nothing magical in it. And people are like, and I seen a compilation just went up.
No, but Gabby was.
But this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm going to say to you. All his touches were in it, and people are like, "Oh, what? He just ran there with." And I was kind of going, "No, you're missing the point." Because everyone, when they're judging Naby Keita, expects Naby Keita to get the ball in his own half, dribble past four fellas, and slip some fella in on goal, right? But that's not what we need.
Naby was horrible.
The amount
Do you know what Naby was?
The amount of interceptions he made and threw his body in here, and he just tried to smother Wolves when he could. And as part of that midfield, I thought it was good, really good.
He was a nuisance. He was a nuisance last night, and that's what you want to be. Yeah. We were horrible last night. We were horrible to play. You could see the Wolves crowd had their backs up. Fucking, we were horrible to play against last night. I thought he pressed really well. But that's the thing, like, I'm not going to hang any hopes on Naby Keita because I just can't. Anytime I have, he's let me down. And
that's the story of his career at Liverpool. That's the story of his Liverpool career.
I've made the point so many times on Naby Keita. Ability-wise is not in question. It's availability and consistency for me. And the availability shows because I think he's played 123 games in 260 odd games that Liverpool have played at the time he's here. He's been missing for a good load of them with injury, and other times he just hasn't been picked. And I don't know whether that's a lack of trust and whatever it might be. But you're seeing last night that Naby Keita doesn't need to be slaloming down the pitch, but Naby Keita gets his foot in, keeps it, a couple of good flicks, got away from a couple of people, threw tackles in, and worked. Genuinely, honestly, Them players went out there last night, midfield in particular, Elliott as well, Gakpo, they all worked. And once they worked hard, they got chances. They got chances and they were able to play their football. I thought it was great. People are asking how you join in. You want to call in. If you want to call in, check the community tab in our YouTube channel. You will see the link there. You can join in. Veranda Cheese wants to join in, and that should be fun if he does. But I'll just knock him off if he's out of order. Jono asks, have we not talked about the prank yet? Keith, the BBC last night before the game.
Yeah.
Outrageous stuff.
Yeah. I liked it, I have to say. I like it. How long did it go on for?
I'd say the phone rang twice.
Yeah, it was about 11 minutes or something.
So they're sitting there talking. Next while it just goes off, and then they go to Shearer, and it just stops, and then it starts again. And obviously a phone strapped under the table somewhere, but it's ingenious, isn't it?
Yeah, because you see the clips and all of that, don't you? Like lads going through the airport on the stag, and they'll stick a speaker in one of their bags and do it. But that's the BBC, FA Cup, Gary Lineker. You know what I mean? That was a.
They handled it well, I thought.
They did. They just.
What else can you do but laugh? And you see, you can't go to an ad on the BBC. That's the problem. You can't go to an ad.
They didn't kind of shy away, but they kept alluding to it then throughout the night. You know, they kind of made it. And Gary Lineker, who was a bit of a twat, in my opinion, seemed to handle it really well. And yeah, it was good. It'll be one of them things. That'll be a quiz question in a few years, I reckon. But it was good. I've gotten caught with that so many fucking times. It's untrue.
Yeah. We used to have the rule in the WhatsApp group that you weren't allowed to do that. And if you'd done it, you were fucked out. But no, listen, the midfield was good. It was good to see Elliott get a goal last night. Liverpool move on, of course, into the fourth round. They go away to Brighton, but nobody else calling in yet. So let's chat. And by the way, when we get near the end, if you want to come on and ask us random questions, you can come on and ask us random questions. And it doesn't have to be all FSG. It can be just general Liverpool questions, football questions. You know, what you like on a sandwich at 11 o'clock at night. You can ask that if you want. Like, there's no problem. But looking forward to Saturday. Seany, I'll come to you first. It's a big game, isn't it? They're all big games, but I think this one is so hard to call. You know, if Chelsea were flying in form, you go, yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards Chelsea, but I think it's hard to lean towards either side at this minute because of form and players out and whatever else. Are you confident for Saturday?
I can't say I'm confident because just the way the season has played out, but I'll know at 11:30 how confident I'll be when I see the lineup.
Yeah.
I think if Klopp trusts a couple of the young lads, we have a far better chance against Chelsea on Saturday. It's a big game again. And look, I think narratives are going to change quickly in this season because a couple of results and you'll be right back in the mix. Like, look, I understand it feels all a little bit doom and gloom and shitty at the moment, but points on the board and things will look different. We haven't been consistent at all. But I think last night is something to build on because if you keep clean sheets, you're always giving yourself a chance at winning games, especially when we have the forward players we do. And it looks like we're going to have a couple back. It looks like Darwin will be back for Saturday as well. So I'd like to see like a front line with Gakpo, Darwin and Salah and maybe some sort of like a midfield similar to last night. I hope he really plays Bajcetic on Saturday. I really do. I hope.
You think he'll do it against Chelsea? Are you worried about the physicality? Oh, I know. I'd be of the opinion
Chilwell and James back in full training for Chelsea today, says Carl Robinson.
He's been more physical than.
Yeah, well, see, that's sort of what I'm trying to get to because even though he's young and inexperienced, the older, experienced players are just going around like statues. So I don't know what benefit we get out of, let's say, playing a Henderson or a Fabinho even ahead of the young flow. I'd be of the opinion, throw them in. It's Chelsea. He could be up against Kovacic and whoever else. Just throw them in.
The way I see it is now, like, we've more to gain than we do to lose at this stage. Yeah. In terms of the Premier League, I'd definitely be throwing them in. I'm not even joking you. People are fucking digging me out as well for saying I want to see Doak. Like I wouldn't care, but I do because the thing is, like, if you're good enough, you're old enough. It shouldn't really matter. I trust Bajcetic. I do. I would trust him. And I said it last night. Like, he's going to make mistakes. There's no point getting on his back. But I'd much rather a fella making mistakes that you know is going to learn from them than the type of, like, Fabinho come on last night and his first touch was a tackle.
Yeah.
His first, like, he was terrible when he came on. Like, he did. We looked rocky when the young lad went up last night. So I'd play him. I would, Gav. I'll know what half of them when I see the lineup. I'm not really worried about Chelsea because I know they signed your man Mudryk and all, but Chelsea are just kind of fucking. Nothing about them screams Chelsea to me anymore. There's no real killers in the team anywhere.
No cohesion and no plan.
They're at the sign about 8 strikers who are all the same player.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it. And there's talk that they're going to spend another 200 million in the window. Look, listen, we turn up, Anfield turns up, we should be fucking beating this because any other stage of the season you'd be expecting to beat them. So we really need to not make a statement and not turn corners, but winning is habitual. And I'd really like to see us kicking on. And I'd like to see Klopp throwing it out there and not just going with the same thing. And if you are going to play Henderson, Thiago, change the system. Yeah. Like we spoke about already.
I've a feeling he definitely plays Henderson because Henderson hasn't played at all last night. I think he's definitely going to play him, and I'm with you. I'd play those same 3 again because the way it is, right? You know, people are saying Bajcetic got cramp on 70. That's absolutely fine. He's 3 days to rest. 3 days, and not only that, we've seen players like Henderson and Fabinho or Milner or whoever in midfield be fucking struggling fitness-wise with 10, 15 minutes to go in a game, and they play at the weekend. So I don't. That argument doesn't carry for me. Like,
and look at the lads at the end.
Are you telling me that Stefan Bajcetic comes off that pitch last night, or gets on that coach and says to himself, "I don't think I'll be able to play on Saturday, lads. Got a bit of cramp there." He'd be fucking running through doors at Anfield.
He's a young player. He's a kid, young kid. He'd be going through on adrenaline. But
yeah, exactly.
He's fucking cowler on the other side of the pillow. Nothing seems that he looks like one of them who's just dead inside, doesn't he? Like nothing would faze him. I really hope Klopp goes for it because I just don't think the lads. And again, go back to what Klopp said. He goes, maybe these players who were good for us for the last couple of the years aren't able to do what they do anymore.
Yeah,
we'll know. And
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah. Going back to what Phil said the other night, Gav. About the run-in when we had all the injuries, we only really started to look ourselves when we started playing centre-backs as centre-backs, even though those centre-backs were Reece Williams and Nathaniel Phillips. You put round pegs in round holes and things started to work again. A functioning midfield last night gave us structure, gave us a style of play. It allowed us control in the game. We control the game, but the Wolves away is a tough game, man. Like, I don't remember ever going there and blowing them away. They're always tough games. So, I really like. I can't see Saturday being any harder because Kovacic is a really good player for Chelsea, but
great player.
Other than that, who's gonna bully? Who's gonna overpower Bajcetic in the midfield? I don't know. I just think he has way too much of a positive impact on the team.
If you play him deep and you put Thiago and Keita beside him, it wasn't like people got at him last night because there was energy there. And if you have the energy and he's a snide little fucker as well, and you have Keita, who I think was really good last night, but then you have Thiago will just take a ball and get you out of trouble like that and gives you that rest. You know what I mean? And you can even give Thiago a dodgy ball and he'll fucking get hold of it and do something with it. Hannah asks, Ben Doak is another kid. Why are we suddenly off for burning out kids way too soon? Listen, Hannah, I'm not talking about playing 25 games from now the end of the season, but I think he's a great option to have on the bench for a Salah or whoever's on the left. Throw him on either side, because the thing about him is he's getting 10, 15 minutes here and there, right? And he's just coming on. He's just loads of energy. He knows when to run with it. He knows when to take people on. He knows when to hold it, pass it. He looks so good. I wouldn't be playing him every week, but I'd have him on the bench. I'd keep him in the squad now.
Put it this way on that point before we move on. Like, would you rather see with 20 minutes to go and you're taking off, let's say, Gakpo's playing through the centre, and you take him out and put Salah central, would you rather see like Oxlade-Chamberlain coming on for them 20 minutes, or would you rather see Ben Doak? I'd rather see Ben Doak, because he's trying to make things happen. That's not a slight on Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, but Doak is trying to make things happen. We were looking at the match and we were texting, and I thought he was very clever. There was times he was getting the ball, and he wasn't just constantly putting the head down and trying to beat players. He was passing it inside when it was to be passed inside. He was making the right decisions. And he wasn't just trying to constantly just beat a man. You know, when you get them little wingers and they just want to drop the shoulder and go. He knew when to do that, but he knew when to do the other side. And he's strong as an ox as well. I think this kid has a lot in him. And as Gav said, we're not looking to play him 40 games a year. Exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just and use him where you can use him.
A big thing, like a big telltale when you see kids like him coming into the foul is you look at senior players and you think, are you reluctant to give him the ball? Now, Salah was looking for him. Salah was looking for him at every instance because he knows this kid can make it happen. He can go inside, he can go outside. I actually listened to a Celtic podcast about him because a mate of mine, Adam, is a huge Celtic fan, and they were fucking devastated when they lost him. But he's both-footed.
Yeah,
they don't. Like, nobody knows what foot. He doesn't really have a stronger side. It looks like Scotland are going to fast track him into that first team. You just know when sometimes you just know when you see kids at that level. You just know by their demeanour, the way they go hiding. The big thing is pace, strength. Woodburn always looked lovely on the ball, but he didn't have that explosive pace. No. This kid is lightning. He looks really, really good. I remember when Sterling played his first game for Liverpool. You just knew there was something different. He moved different. He was quick. He was strong.
It's Michael Owen.
It's
that
you
small
knew,
fella.
You knew straight away. And this is not the heat pressure on the kid because he looks like he fucking eats it. Honestly, he looks like he's late for school every day. Looks like just a little head on him. Yeah. He really he excites me, Gav. And he does. And if I see him coming off the bench, I'd be excited. He's a wild card. He's another wild card.
Yeah, and I think in seasons like this when it's not great and we're hoping to improve and we're hoping to push on and try to get top four, but in seasons like this sometimes you do get players that come out and you go, well, fucking look what we have in our hands here. Michael Owen being that case in point, 96, 97, and you know, right at the end of the season he scores a goal and a year later he's playing in a World Cup. He's a bit like Michael Owen for me. He has that determination, he has that coldness to him, and then blistering pace, strong. I think he's a fantastic footballer. But all right, people, Hannah maybe put it that way and said, right, don't play him, we don't want to burn him out. But I kind of understand where she's coming from because you don't really want to end up in a situation where you're having to play him 10 games in a row at 17. I get that. But, someone else said there, like Barca have teenagers in their midfield, can we not? Yeah, but, Barcelona on top of a league, we're not. So you kind of have to caveat with that. Arthur Melo, I seen today linked away to Palmeiras in Brazil.
Who?
Yeah, him. Talk is that Palmeiras are looking to take him, and if they can sort the wages out, he could go this month.
Yeah.
Keith, does that tempt you into thinking that Liverpool are going to do something here, or is it just a case of getting rid of Arthur Melo?
It annoys me because why have they not got rid of Arthur Melo already if they can? I thought there was some sort of they can't send him back. Because Palmeiras are looking to bring him in, that Juve will, whatever the penalty was for sending this fella back, and it's not a dig out on the chap got injured with a bad injury, and after playing one blade in 20 minutes or something for Liverpool, he's done nothing. It's been the biggest waste of time, the biggest waste of energy that we've had. And again, it's not on the chap, but if we can get rid of him, I don't know why we're keeping him in there because
I don't think we can. I think the agreement is that he stays at Liverpool on loan, right? Yeah, and that's it. Liverpool have to keep him unless Juventus turn around and say he's being sold if you want it and give Liverpool the option.
A bit of shit, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, Juventus, I think everyone resigned at Juventus about 3 or 4 weeks ago. But Shawnee, does that make you think, if that happened, it frees up a spot in the squad, or are you just kind of going, nah?
Well, it will mean that the elephant in the room of not having room is addressed. Yeah. If it was to happen. Now, it'd have to happen sooner rather than later. Palmeiras have allowed the cash as well. So if it's only a wage thing, then it shouldn't be a big issue. I think it'd be good for him, Gav. because look, it just hasn't worked out. Like, you know, like simple as that. Just one of them things. It shouldn't have happened in the first place. Just, you know what I mean? Kind of brush your hands of it and go, right, okay, look, sorry, but thanks, but no thanks. I'm sure there's probably a willingness there on all sides to get something like this done. So, look, if it did happen, it won't get rid of that problem that we do have in terms of having room in the squad. That you just can't get away from that at the moment.
Yeah,
like,
and it dangles that carrot, doesn't it? It gives Jesus, there is a space now.
Look, there's 2 weeks left in the window. I think a lot could happen. But the longer it goes on, I'm starting thinking that our eggs are all in a young Adonis from Birmingham shaped basket. A gorgeous young man from Birmingham shaped basket. It looks like to me that the powder couldn't be drier. It's locked away. Because it just, I don't know. There's only one player who I'd really like to see us bring in this window, if I'm being honest with you, and I don't see it. That's Caicedo. But I wouldn't be rocking the boat for anyone else because it doesn't really look like anyone else is available. And I tell you what, I'm not too keen on Italian players, but I watched Inter Milan tonight, and my Jesus, that Barella is some player.
Yeah, he's
cool there.
Yeah. If one we should be looking at in the summer, if I was to go on, he's the one I'd definitely be looking at.
Okay.
And then the next summer at FC, Jesus, mate, fucking grow up, will you? Watching way too much Arsenal TV, playing FIFA. Yeah. Next summer at FC and caveat and stuff.
If anyone wants to call in, we're leaving here in 10 minutes. I promise you that we're leaving here in 10 minutes, okay? So if you want to call in and ask us anything you want, it can be Liverpool related, it can be ownership related, it can be just anything general. You can absolutely throw it in there. Or throw it in the chat if you don't want to come on, and we might answer a few before we go. United drew tonight. I was expecting them to win that and go to the Emirates, looking to get right up on top of Arsenal, but that's 2 big points lost them, even at this, what you consider early stage. It's another big weekend of football. Liverpool play Chelsea, and the lads are going to preview that a bit tomorrow and definitely on Friday. Sorry, Liverpool v Chelsea. Did I say Arsenal? You have got Arsenal and United. City play Spurs, I think, tomorrow. Am I right? I think they might play tomorrow or Friday. City play Spurs. And, but down the bottom, there's not a huge game. It's West Ham against Everton. What do you think of that? While I let our next caller come in. Keith, West Ham against Everton.
I'm heavily invested in Everton going down now. West Ham are muck, but I'll be rooting for them to give Everton one. They're terrible. Everton are muck. West Ham are muck, but I can't see any positives in Everton at the moment. So the sooner they're gone, the better.
Okay. We're joined by Chris. Chris, how are you? Can you hear us? Are you there, Chris?
I am, sorry. I've got 2. I've got 1 that's delayed.
Okay.
All right, lads.
How are you?
How's it going?
Chris, what's the story?
I'm above the ground. You're ignoring me in the chat. I just said I'd get on and be controversial.
Anyway, have you got a question, Chris?
Yeah, because you ignored me in the chat. I put forward the idea that I would start Kelleher this weekend rather than
Apologies. You'd start Kelleher in goal at the weekend?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, go on. Tell us more.
It's just more, there's absolutely no doubt in what Alisson has done for us, and he's top quality. But the last 2 games in the league, howlers, massive howlers. I don't know whether the head's gone, I don't know whether it's post-World Cup or whatever, but he doesn't fill me with full of confidence. And considering I don't think Kelleher is going to be there during the summer, there isn't a bigger window to get a couple of quid on the keeper. And I just think that there's something about Alisson at the moment. He had a patchy couple of seasons ago, and this just feels very similar.
I was surprised to even see Kelleher get a run. After Klopp's comments, do you know that Alisson will be the cup goalkeeper? And I know he probably wasn't expecting a replay.
But the thing is, Keith, he starts Alisson in the first game of the cup and then brings Kelleher in. Now, could you read something into that where he went, well, I was going to start you, but you know what? I'm starting Kelleher, because you could read into that with the likes of Henderson, Fabinho. You know, I'm not too sure there's anything to it. I don't think Kelleher's done anything wrong as a Liverpool goalkeeper. I think it's going to be a massive shame if he does leave the club, but I understand. We had a big conversation about this a few weeks ago about what do? Do you sell him and get a buyback? But would you consider this, Keith, at the weekend?
I wouldn't, but only for the fact that I would see that as a bit too extreme. Do you know what I mean? Like, from Klopp nearly saying that Kelleher wouldn't play the cups, and 2 weeks later he's starting the league game. Now, I wouldn't have any worries about him playing against Chelsea or anything like that, because he played at Stamford Bridge last season, doesn't he? He comes in, the 2-2 draw, can't really do anything in that. I think he's an excellent keeper. And that's the problem we have. He's 24 years old. He's absolutely brilliant. If I was so many big clubs in England, I'd be looking at this lad and bringing him in. Now, I'm not saying the top teams, but I don't know, it was Kev O'Sullivan that keeps saying it. Spurs should be looking at him. Do you know what I mean? Because they've got the worst keeper in the league.
Kelleher could be great. I get you. Like, I just sometimes think, you know, every footballer that we all start talking about at some point had to start somewhere. And I just think kick up the arse for Alisson. And, you know, this man has played international. I know, and like, you're busy when you're an Irish goalkeeper. And there's a lot about him that I just think Chelsea could be the game, because I think they're going to put a lot of crosses in. He's solid in the air. Ball distribution is good. And as I say, I just think the mistakes from Alisson in the last two league games, the head was gone. I mean, the one against Wolves is, you can't get your head around what he was thinking. I think he's on the final lap. I can't see him sitting around. He can't sit on a bench. Yeah, so what bigger game to you know what I mean? If he's only played cup games for us, it keeps the price down if anybody's buying him. If like a flip of a coin, if he had a stunning game against Chelsea, you can add 10 million to what anybody's going to offer for him.
The only thing I'd say as well about that is, I think Liverpool need a momentum run, right? So they've beaten Wolves, a good performance, and lift their spirits. Now, I don't think Kelleher's ever let us down in a game. I'm a huge fan of Kelleher, but we're talking about Alisson here, and we're talking about the player who's been the most consistent. And he has made a few mistakes recently, but the thing with Alisson that I like is that when he makes a mistake, his head doesn't really go. He'll do the same thing again, and he might get caught. But I think he's the type of keeper that brushes her off. So I hear what you're saying, Chris, that it's worth trying it, but I just think if we can put a run of wins together now in league games, Sean, you said it earlier, a couple of wins, a couple of big results, and you can see yourself moving up that table. I don't know if I'd risk it in this game, but it's an interesting one.
Just go back, like I 100% see Chris's point, but apparently Borussia Dortmund are looking at Kelleher.
There you go.
Right.
So,
you know,
I wasn't trying to be
that level. I think he's
level. No, I think he is. That's why I think it's going to be quite sad that he's going to be Irish and has spent his time playing 8 games for us or something like that. And I'd say it's just slightly disagree with you, Keith. I think unfortunately with Alisson, when the head goes, it tends to be 2 or 3 mistakes. It all starts getting shaky with him deciding to leave the box. I think we're playing a bang average Chelsea team, and it's a massive game. For as much as massive games going on all weekend, why not throw a curveball? Because I mean, the whole season's been a curveball when we've been sticking with the names, expecting it to come good, and I just don't see it. But I just said I'd give you a call, lads.
Well, I think it'd be good to reinstate him in the cup. Reinstate him in the cup maybe, and give him the Brighton game.
Well, I think he should have started the cup anyway. I thought it was a mad decision not to start him. But before you go, Chris, you wanted to start Kelleher. 2 questions before you go.
I'm not going anywhere, John. I'm going to keep. I've yet to wind up Keith about following River Plate. You know what I mean?
There you go.
With a Dublin accent on you.
Well,
You
listen,
can't do
I'll tell you what we do, right? Answer the two
Yeah.
questions. I'll let you go. Drop me an email and I'll get you back on at some stage. How does that sound? But the two questions for you. Would you start Bacetich at the weekend? And what would your score prediction be before we let you go?
I can't really answer that because I went to see Avatar 3D last night, which seems to be his best performance. And I heard good things about it. And then somebody at my son's football match tonight suggested he wasn't good. So it'd be another
He was very
curveball.
good.
He was very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can't see anything to lose because we've spent now, 3 months talking about the midfield?
Yeah.
4 months. So
Longer. 6
why not just throw curveballs? You know what I mean? Score result. Do you know what? Normally, this year with Liverpool, I just can't. It's getting difficult to even pay attention for the full game, if you know what I mean. It's either heartbreaking or a bit of euphoria.
Yeah.
I'll go 3-1 to
Nice.
Liverpool.
Take that. Chris Brack has the exact same in 3-1, so all the Chris's reckon it's going to be 3-1. Chris, mate, listen, thanks a million for calling in. Drop us an email, though, because we'll definitely get you back on in the future.
Yeah. Honestly, just because I get a chance, and in case we don't, love the channel, lads, genuinely, and I'm really impressed with the other guests. You know, you get some mad stuff on, but it goes to show the quality of your audience. Hello to everybody in the chat. I am Chris Golden.
He's like a fella getting on the news, isn't he?
The artist formerly
he
known
in
as
the
Chris Golden. Listen, Chris, you're never going to get a channel anywhere else that's going to discuss a man's problems with butter and bread. It's as simple as that.
There you go.
Right.
Tato or King, that's the question, G.
There you go.
Talk to you later, buddy. Cheers, pal.
Have a good one. Good
Thanks
evening,
for
folks.
calling in,
Bye-bye.
Chris. Good luck.
See,
We want to hang around with him.
Well, yeah, I'd love to hang around with him. I'd love him to be my friend. But look, we're out of here. It's 11 o'clock, and we promised we were going to be out at 11. If you like,
There has been one more there now. I'm enjoying this.
This is great, yeah.
let me see. No, there's nothing showing up there at the moment. So, what was I going to say to you? Yeah, listen, we're out of here. If you enjoyed that sort of show and you're watching it now, let us know in the comments or before we head off. Or let us know if you're listening. Let us know somehow. But if you enjoy that sort of show, we would be willing to do maybe once a month, once every 2 weeks. But if it got really popular, we might do it once a week. You never know. The only thing we ask is if you do come on, you be respectful. You know, we let you talk, you let us talk, and we're absolutely good. There is a delay on this, so we can kind of whip you off if anything mad happens. But no, if you liked it, let us know, because we are willing to try. We listen to you all the time. In fairness, we listen to you all the time. In fairness, but look, before we go, bookmakers.com is the sponsor of the show. I forgot to say that at the start. Check out their website and their YouTube channel in the show description. You can get on their website and find the best gambling stuff by all means, but make sure you do it responsibly if that's your thing. If it's not your thing, you can go on and check out stats and comparisons and all that sort of stuff. So it might be something for you, even if you don't gamble. If you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you will see, I think I've done 3 shows on that channel, but they do have stuff on horse racing and golf and whatever else, so it might be something there. On the charity, I want to give Kieran Thorne a mention. He has donated 300 of the 600 this evening, and he's going to put the other 300 later, so he has stuck by his word with that £600 or €600 donation. So fair play to him on that. If you can, it's in the show description, it's all over our social media. If you contact us by email, we'll give you posters that you can print out. There's no way we cannot help you with this. So if you can donate, brilliant. If not, share it amongst your family, your friends, your colleagues, whoever you're talking to, because it's a brilliant effort by 12 women now, not 11, 12.
Are we up in the numbers?
Yeah, we're going up in numbers. Usually people drop out. I don't know what's going on.
This is like Rocky when he's running through Philly, and
there's going to be a load.
There's loads.
There's going to be 400 people. It's going to be like, it's going to be something mad. Come to Dublin Marathon, but. There's a women's show being recorded soon, says Chris Brack. Correct, that's being done next week as well. So he'll have all the update on that. But the charity, donate if you can. If not, share it everywhere. It's a brilliant effort by these women, as I said, and it's a brilliant charity. Breast cancer research. So make sure you check it out if you can. That is it. Keith, anything else before we go?
No, I enjoyed that. That was good.
Yeah, it was good.
That was good.
Albert said he's calling, but no answer. Albert, I have to go, but I promise you, if we do this next week, you pop in and I'll wait for you to come in and make your first caller the next time. Shawnee, anything else before we go?
Really enjoyed that. And great that, like I think I seen Sash Copboy saying in the channel, in the chat there, like, it's good to put faces to names, but, like, this isn't an echo chamber. Like, you can come on here and say what you like. We're going to say back to you how you feel, but I don't, like, we're not all parroting each other.
We're not going to fall out on you. We're not going to fall out.
No. And like, there was some really good points made in all the calls tonight. And poor fucking Bruno, Jesus Christ, hope someone brings him to a wedding or something, because fella's mad for a bridesmaid. I don't know what the story is from. But no, fair play to all the callers calling in. I really do think this is something you consider doing again. And a few of you other fucking grow up here, the bleeding stones in the chat and come in, because we won't bite now.
But you don't have to turn on your camera.
What?
You don't have to turn on your camera. You can just come on.
No, you don't.
No,
you don't. We don't all look like bleeding Gavin, Keith, and myself. You know what I mean?
Scary.
And
like a boy band, wrong direction.
It's a brilliant gesture. And
well, I've got a message already from one of the girls who's doing that, saying that money has landed and they're like, what is going on? But
yeah, it's not the first time either, you know, that Kieran's done something like that for the channel and for the charities that we support. So big bill of us for Kieran. For anyone who doesn't know what that means, it means clap.
Fair play to you.
Everyone in the chat.
He doesn't have the clap, just fair play.
All lads who are trying to. And I seen my cousin Albert as well was in there trying to get in. Not Albert, Bertie Volkswagen Keegan's pocket. He actually explained to me what I meant at a funeral a few weeks ago, and my mind was blown. Apparently, Kevin Keegan put Bertie Vouch in his pocket in the European Cup final or something like that. Anyway,
Liverpool against Mönchengladbach, 1977.
Correct. So we get Albert on as well next time, because I think the chat would actually really love him as well. So great show, Gav. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did as well. And listen, we'll probably throw the question out in their Telegram group to see if people liked it. We'll be doing it again. And I've no problem with this show every week being a call-in, because we can bring 2 or 3 on, we can bring 1 on, we can bring 10 on. It doesn't matter once people are patient, respectful, and it's all good. So that's it. We'll talk to you soon. That's been the Midweek Fix. Tomorrow will be Viewer's Voice. I have to go and sort that out with Matt. Friday, Premier League forecast with, I don't know who's on that. Kev, Chris, Luke, somebody else. There'll be 4 people on Friday night. Saturday, full-time Reds after the Chelsea game. Sunday, Fatback 4, and then we're back into next week. And I have to say, over the last 2 weeks, we've put out a serious amount of shows. We've been clipping them up. We've been throwing them out there all over social media for people to watch and get into. The quality of the shows has been excellent. Everyone that's hosted, everyone that's guested, it's been absolutely excellent the last 2 weeks. So we'll try to keep it up. You keep coming, you keep letting us know how it is, and we go from there. Talk to you in a bit. Over and out.